Hi 7Xers, this is the video that goes along with online work number 16. I'm not going to do any equations today because the equations are very similar to the equations you did for online work number 15, so you should be fine there. We'll just do one word problem similar to the word problem that you'll see today. So look at this word problem. It says Joe, Jim, and Bob all brought cookies to school. Joe had triple the amount of cookies as Jim, and Bob had 5 less cookies than Joe. Bob's cookies was equal to 5 more than half of Jim's. How many cookies does each boy have? So we're going to have to set up expressions to represent Joe's cookies, Jim's cookies, and Bob's cookies. Let's move that up so you can see that. So what do we know here? We know Joe had triple the amount of cookies as Jim. We know Bob had 5 less cookies than Joe. I'm going to call Jim X because he's the person that we weren't told anything about. Now, Joe had triple the amount as Jim. So let's call Joe 3X. And Bob had 5 less cookies than Joe. So make sure you're looking at Joe's. Bob had 5 less than Joe, so that's going to be 3X minus 5. Now, when we set up our equation, we need to use this sentence here. Bob's cookies, I think just to say were, Bob's cookies were equal to 5 more than half of Jim's. So our equation needs to show that Bob's cookies is equal to 5 more than half of Jim's cookies. People always get disturbed here that they're not going to use Joe in the equation at all. That's okay. We don't need to use Joe. We just need to use the information they told us. And they told us that Bob's cookies was equal to 5 more than half of Jim's cookies. So Bob's cookies, that's 3X minus 5. That has to be equal to 5 more than half of Jim's. So this is half of Jim's. 5 more than that will look like this. Bob's cookies is equal to 5 more than half of Jim's. And again, we don't care that Joe's not in the equation. We can figure him out later. So solve this by subtracting 1/2 x from both sides. 1/2 x. I'm going to get 2.5 x minus 5 equals 5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I get 2.5 x equals 10. Divide 10 by 2.5, and I'm going to get 4. X is 4. Now, the question asks you to go back and find out how many cookies each boy has. Well, Jim was X, so he must have 4 cookies. Joe is 3 times X, so 3 times 4 is 12. And Bob is 3 times 4 minus 5, so that's going to be 7. Now you can double check yourself by making sure that Bob's cookies really is equal to 5 more than half of Jim's. Well, Bob's cookies is 7. Is that equal to 5 more than half of Jim's? Well, half of Jim's would be 2. 5 more than that would be 7, so it does work. So Jim has 4 cookies, Bob has 7 cookies, and Joe has 12 cookies. I hope that helps you with today's assignment. If you have any questions, please make sure you let me know.